Don't hurt your. Oh my god.
I could kill myself on this if I wanted to.
Okay. You're on film. He did it!
Did you see?
I did see it. I got it on film.
Oh my god, can that be the intro to the podcast?
That can be the intro to the podcast. Hello and welcome to Footnotes, the stories that won't make the history books because they don't matter. I am your host, Emily Whitehead, and welcome to our fourth episode, a deep dive into the wondrous world of ant smuggling. Today, I'm very honoured to be joined by my esteemed guest this week. This is our second guested episode, except you might not know it because the third episode isn't out yet, but we're not going to talk about that. Asa, please introduce yourself.
Hello fans of Emily. I am Emily's friend Acer, and I am currently doing a PhD on ants, and unfortunately have inadvertently become very familiar with the underground ant black market and ant smuggling in general. So I thought this would be an interesting topic to talk about.
Dr. Asa.
Not yet.
Not yet.
My
How long
grandma
until
calls
you're
me
a
that
doctor?
already, even though I don't have it yet.
Oh, you already started calling yourself that?
So I better get it.
On like medical forms, does that mean you get to put like your like when it says like Mr. Miss?
Yeah, I said doctor.
Do you say
I have
doctor
to
now?
remember. I think it's illegal for me not to. I think I have
illegal.
to. I don't know. It's
You
not. It's a
legally
legal
have
document,
to correct
isn't it?
people if people are like.
From my
still
understanding,
looking, they're
I might get upgraded on flights because they're like, whoa, a doctor. My supervisor has been upgraded once on a flight because he's a doctor.
So, do you want to let's start to begin. Can we talk a bit about your PhD? Because I think it's cool.
I think it's cool as well. I think
I would
it's a
hope
good.
so.
I
It's
love.
your PhD.
I actually try to make an active effort not to talk about it too much because I do a lot of it, so it's all I want to talk about, and I really think it's pretty gnarly. So I have already done a master's in these same ants. I am doing my studies focusing on weaver ants. They are called, their fancy name is, I'm going to say it wrong.
No, do it, go crazy.
Acophilia smaragdina. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
I'll trust you. I should
know by now. I do know what it means. It means Acophylla means leaf house, and smaragdina is just a really gorgeous shade of emerald green. That's what that means.
Because you were saying, is when I put the green lighting on, you said...
That's why the green is good.
Because I was just like, oh, green is biology.
Yeah.
And ant is leaf.
It's a good ant. It's a green ant. I will say, I'm colorblind. Did not know why they were called green ants. They're like a orangey red to me. Did not know that that's why they're called green ants.
Can you not see the color green?
I just mix it up. I mix it up with that. In the right lighting, they do look green.
Does this look green?
Yes, this look green.
Okay,
it's a very distinct shade of green. On the white background does help a lot.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I will say, being colorblind has come up multiple times in just science and biology and stuff. Everything's very color based, which, you know what, it stresses other people out more than it stresses me out. But I am doing studies basically on their like swarm intelligence, swarm behavior things, how they communicate and just share information with each other. If you want to get more specific, can you know,
I do.
Imagine multiple people lifting up like a couch, you know?
I am imagining
so
it.
that is collective transport. We are collectively transporting something. Can you think of any kind of animal, organism, anything that does that besides humans?
Is it ants? Asa?
It is ants. Can you think of anything else that does that?
Lice.
I don't know if
I have no idea.
Because I often make the bold statement.
Because I often when I'm lifting something up and I put it over their head and there's a bunch of people, I always go, "Oh, we're going ant mode."
It is going ant mode. I am glad that the ants are getting their representation.
The rep.
Yeah, well, I often make the big statement, and I really hope it's true because I can't think of anything on the top of my head. The only two things that do that are people and ants.
Yeah.
The thing that made people really good with it is that they're able to like directly communicate. You can gesture and do things with your head and face and like point
opposable thumbs.
Opposable thumbs to grab it, and you can like say things. So if we're maneuvering a couch through a tight space, I'll be like, move it this way, pivot, up, down, drop it, things like that.
Stop being a pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But ants don't have that. Ants aren't able to communicate directly through speech. So, but they're actually...
I look so surprised. Ants can't speak to
English.
Yeah.
There's a cool video. I don't know if you can add videos.
I will have looks.
Well, if you look up Ofer Feinerman,
how do I spell?
however you like, it's this one right here.
This one right here?
The human versus ants. You get the idea. So it's
Yeah.
humans trying to move this irregular object through a tiny little slut. Sorry,
You
a
said
tiny little slit.
Slut.
Sorry. Through a tiny little slit. And so these humans are blindfolded. Not blindfolded, they're wearing like sunglasses
Yeah.
and earmuffs. So they can't directly see each other and they can't communicate verbally. And then you have the ants doing the exact same thing. They're collectively transporting this irregular object through the tiny slit. And
Through the tiny slut.
I haven't looked at the results super intricately, but you can get a sense of the answer a little bit better. So the idea is like, well, the humans, when they are limited in communication, things like speech, head gestures, this sort of like direct, verbal, complex sharing of ideas and instructions, when that's taken away, they start to struggle. But ants, what is their form of like complex and intricate instructions and things? So my study is looking at information sharing and how they turn the sort of private information of each ant into a social collective knowledge that they can use to solve problems and
That's so cool.
do things efficiently. Yeah.
So essentially, like ant communication is your.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
so cool.
Studying them is super, super fun because weaver ants, I think weaver ants are the best ants. I'm biased. I just think they're such a charming ant.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're quite tall, super gorgeous shade of green that I can't really see.
But you can't tell.
And something I really like about them is that they're very, very aggressive. They, so I have to go out and collect them myself.
Yes.
They don't live. We're here in New South Wales. Sorry, doxing you. We're here in New South Wales.
You can dox the state that I live in. It's okay.
And these
You're
ants,
doxing yourself too. You live here too.
You just doxed me. Didn't know
Sorry.
that.
Whoa.
But they don't occur in New South Wales. It's not humid enough here. So me and my team of crack specialists have to go to Queensland and collect them. And these ants are arboreal, meaning they live in trees and they live in like.
Do you have to climb the trees?
A lot of their I think they're affectionately called the high elves of the ant world because that's basically what they are, and because they're very elegant and cool and dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, we try not to climb big trees because when you're doing science, you actually have to have a special tree climbing license, which I do not currently have. And it's
Why
kind
don't
of
you
hard
have
to
a
get.
tree climbing license?
I just never. I think it's actually quite expensive to get, so you have to be sponsored for it. I
You
think,
have to be
and I don't want to pay for it.
Expensive to get it. That's so funny.
Yeah, the main thing it's gonna be sad. The main thing that I've seen it used for is killing baby birds. Because if you have an invasive species of bird, if you killed the adult, it's not good or moral or ethical to leave the babies to starve to death. So they climb up the trees and do what is referred to as cervical dislocation on the head of the bird too.
What does that mean? On the baby?
Yeah, I
So
know.
people get a tree climbing license?
I know. So you have to get.
Is that a profession?
That's a profession. Yeah. When I was I've done some work in a remote area working with birds, and we saw I forgot the exact species now, but there was an invasive bird in this area, and we were worried, like, it's a critically endangered bird species that we were working with, the orange belly parrot. But that is just a critically endangered bird, and they're worth a lot of money to the government because tourists come from far and wide to see them in Tasmania. So when there was an invasive species that could potentially threaten the population, they sent over someone to shoot the adults and then a separate person to climb the trees and kill the babies.
That would be such... Have you done that?
I've never done
Okay.
that. I was part of the team. We were just like watching out, making sure no one walks into the
murder scene.
But it's
a parrot genocide.
Yeah, I know. No, we weren't killing the parrots.
Oh, what were you killing?
Another type of bird. I forgot the name, embarrassingly.
So you don't even know you were part of this
I didn't know it at
murder
the
of
time. I've
birds.
forgotten
You
the
don't
name.
even-
I forgot. I'm really bad at that quick information recalling, but
Yeah.
I'll remember it in the middle of the podcast. But yeah, that job is like an actual job. So we were in a quite remote area. You had to fly a little plane onto this like dirt airfield in the middle of nowhere, and they flew out this person, like paid for their travel and board and things.
That must be a great job for psychopaths.
Yeah, probably.
Or people
The
who love,
person,
like-
the person who's climbing the trees was pretty cool, and yeah, her job was just.
It was a woman?
Yeah, it was a woman.
Sorry, that's maybe...
It
that
was-
seems like such a man job. I'm sorry.
The man was shooting the gun.
Yeah, I bet he was.
The woman was climbing the trees and murdering the birds. But she that's just her job. We also asked her about it because it seemed really interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was more of a side hustle, but
It's like a full-time gig.
yeah,
She full-time kills baby
well, she
birds.
4 times climbs trees sometimes to kill birds. I don't know what else. I'm sure they put up trail cams and
I would probably describe myself as a professional tree climber rather than a professional baby bird
I think
murderer.
there's actually a cool word for the professional tree climbers, but I also once again forget the name for it.
Speaking of cool birds, so what's your the official title of the study of ants? Asa, you're gonna get a
There's two. I want to say like. If somebody, maybe you should look it up. So I'm an entomologist. I call myself an entomologist often.
What does that mean?
Specifically, an entomologist is a scientist of insects.
So
I am. Entomology is a scientific study of insects. I know that other animals that live within ant nests are called formicophiles.
This says it's called myrmecology.
Myrmecology. I thought it was Formica is like ants.
This is what Google says.
Can you look up formicophile?
And here we have a screen cap of a man taken seconds before disaster. How in God's name do I spell it?
Formicophile.
Mecophile.
And is that have
sexual interest in being crawled upon?
In what? Oh, okay.
So this is you. So Asa says he's a formicophile, which means it's someone. Okay, I'm spiking my mind so bad.
I'm getting the idea that somebody has been
so Asa would describe himself as a formicophile, which is defined as someone who has a sexual interest in being crawled upon or nibbled by insects.
I will say I do really enjoy the part of my work where I get bit by insects. I think it's engaging. It's fun. It's like not boring. That's what I like about my ants. They're very aggressive and their bites don't hurt that much. So
I've been bitten by an ant. I don't like it very much.
I think the most painful insect you can get bit by is a type of ant.
Or like a woman.
A woman in general?
I
wouldn't refer to that as an insect.
Wait, you said insect.
But yeah, I usually say if someone asks me what kind of scientist I am, I usually don't specify just ants. I kind of hope I don't get trapped in the ant world for too long. I really like ants. I just have such an interest for insects in general.
Yeah. So you want to be able to like broaden. So can I ask why ants?
Well, a big reason was my supervisor. I decided that insects were just gnarly and cool, and I wanted to focus on them. I did my undergrad and my honors on antechinus, which are like a little marsupial, and they were fun to work with. They just didn't jazz me that much. Like
didn't hit the way ants do.
Just little rats. They were all right. And I in my studies just met the most excited professors I met were other entomologists. So I was just like, I want to do entomology. So I asked around for people who are looking for students to do a PhD or a master's, and I met Professor.
Hello, Editing Emily here. So it turns out Ace is going to be admitting to crimes on this podcast, and so for legal reasons and for the safety of his professor, we are going to be censoring names of those involved. Just so you know. Back to the show.
And
shout out Professor. Will you send this to him?
I should be at work right now with it.
It's alright.
He might. No, I don't think he'll mind. I think he likes when I talk about the ants. It's fine. But yeah, he was. Will you
send this podcast to Professor?
I told him I'd be on a podcast. I asked him for some information. He gave me some of the.
Oh my god! Thank you. Oh, sorry. I should say Professor.
I don't think.
Is Professor bigger than Doctor?
I don't call. Yes. Okay. If you go along the Academia, yeah, I think Professor is. It's actually really cozy. Like they pay me to do this research, and so for 3 years, I'm actually being paid right now because it's a work day. But yeah, for the next 3 years, so in 3 years I'll be done with it. But for the next few years, I get like a salary and things to do and resources, and mentors and stuff. But yeah, so the way I got into it was that I just spoke with Professor, and he was just like fun to talk to, and we just like kind of hit it off. And he was so excited about his work,
his ants.
Yeah, and that's just very contagious. And I finished my master's with him, and we went to a conference, and I met a whole bunch of other entomologists, and this whole world kind of opened up to me of all the insects I could be studying. Yeah. And I think that was the moment I decided that I didn't want to particularly specialize in ants, because I know there's a lot of people who study one thing and they just do that forever. Yeah. I don't know if that's the better career path, but I was just so interested in all these other things. Another project I was going to do, which was really interesting, is dreams and spiders. Spiders and proving that they dream. So
Hey, so that's so you love animal communication.
It is.
That's your niche. It's like insect communication.
So spiders have retinal tubes. They're not insects. They're actually arachnids.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
not
they
to
are.
be a,
sorry.
not to be
No. Totally. I know that, and that was entirely. Yeah.
I love correcting that on people.
No. Might be.
I think people really like when I correct.
I think they generally do. Is that how you pick up girls?
Yeah.
Is that how you get Danny? That's how you bagged a baddie. Like
on their nomenclature and stuff.
You were like, actually,
it's actually a fucking spider.
It's actually a spider's a fucking arachnid.
Are you an idiot or something? You want me to explain that?
Ace has done some research for me, which is so nice of you to do.
Well, I just knew about this.
I know, but I really appreciate. So tell me about the first thing that we're going to talk about today.
Okay, so I as I said, have to go collect my ants, which has a lot of complications. Collecting, like actually getting the ants, super aggressive.
Yes.
They nut. Usually when
they nut.
They nut. Usually when weaver ants are in a tree.
Yeah.
Like people aren't around it because they're on the floor and they'll bite you and they're super.
But you like it when they bite you.
I think it's fun. I think as a job, I would much rather have ants bite me than sitting at a desk all day. So I just think of all the other places, or if you're a nurse, people would probably be biting.
People be biting you. Yeah, well, Jack was saying Jack gets bitten by
people often.
People. Really? Well, yeah. I remember the first time I ever met.
Oh, I just remembered what his job is.
He's a pediatric nurse.
Yes. Yeah. So I have to collect the ants, and then once we collect them, you have like an entire colony of a queen and a couple thousands, like 10,000 ants, and you have to then transport these ants.
Yes.
I don't know if what we do is illegal and if I should not disclose that on this.
It is illegal. Do you want to tell me what happens and then we can...
I don't think it's that big a deal.
Let's say allegedly. Let's say allegedly someone does this.
You just might have to blur out his name.
That's okay. If it's illegal, you check with him, and if it's illegal, I'll beep out his name.
People have tried a bunch of different ways. People have tried flying with ants just in your suitcase. People have tried driving with them. That just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And the ant colonies are, depending on what kind of ant it is, can be quite difficult to transport. So our ants spray what is called formic acid out their butts. Delicious acid, by the way. I should have brought an ant. This is our hazing thing, is we get you to lick the ass of an ant. You just kind of like eat it out a bit. And you
eat out the ant.
I think it's a poor choice of words, but yes, you just kind of have to like lick it a bit, and as a defense response, it'll squirt its formic acid.
Yeah.
And it tastes like lemon. It tastes like limey. It's delicious. They make gin out of it.
Wow.
And I haven't tried the gin, but I've seen the gin bottles, and I don't think there's enough ants in it. There's like 3 ants.
So you've licked an ant's butt.
I've licked multiple ants' butts, actually. I have tried licking different species, and I can tell them by flavor.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fun. That's
I think if you tested me on that, I would get like a 60%.
You're like an ant jizz sommelier.
It's not jizz.
Oh, so it's acid. Ant acid sommelier.
I guess it could be like their pee.
It's an acid.
So in when they fight each other, they will have like ants, brawling in the middle, and then ants will actually from a distance spray acid, sort of like artillery, and it'll just like kill the other ants using it. And they also use it to clean things. So when my ants are stressed out and they're in a container, they'll spray this acid everywhere. And I've had the experience where when I've unpacked them, they come out kind of drunk and they're like stumbling around. So
because they're spraying the things.
Yeah, and they can actually one time it was really weird. It's like the combination of the spray and some other thing, I think paper towels and stuff, and them just being packed together, almost turned into like a type of cement, and all the ants that arrived to us were like this block of really solid ants. It was really difficult to take them apart because they've all intertwined, almost like a rat king.
Oh my god.
So we've gotten much better at transporting them now, and what we do is we package them with a lot of like cardboard egg cartons in their thing to give them a lot of structure to be around.
Yeah.
And we express post them so that they arrive within like a couple days.
You mail the ants?
Is
that legal?
I don't think so.
Should we Google it?
We have never disclosed specifically that we are mailing ants. We've always said
illegal.
that it is chocolate. We always said this is really expensive chocolate. Please, because that way I think they take care of the temperature.
It is, but that's okay. Hey.
I know that you can't.
Who cares?
I tried to buy spiders before, and the spiders were difficult to get hold of because they were like, you have to come pick them up, or you have to be in the same state as us because we can't post them
interstate. So you post them back to yourselves.
We post them from Queensland.
Have you ever flown with an ant?
No, I've never flown with an ant, though I have heard my supervisor was telling me a story of, and you can actually see it on the news, of somebody, I believe there's somebody he knew, I don't know exactly how he heard of the story, but essentially someone on a plane, and they just put them in their carry-on.
Was this the story you sent me?
So the story I sent you, I couldn't find out, they never really said who did it.
It was
it was
two
just more
teams,
ants.
I
It was
think.
more ants on a plane. So the story I sent you was ants on a plane.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just thought it was really. So when I was looking up, there's a lot of ways people have tried smuggling insects, and one of them was that guy just strapped a bunch of spiders to himself, like cocaine bags. I haven't read the whole story.
Bags, not like a raw spider.
Oh, I don't know actually. I haven't read the whole story, but I believe it was just raw spiders to his body.
How do you strap like this?
Tape. Oh no! Like I think he's talking like tarantulas, like big. They have like a lot of structure. So I have heard from inside sources that they like I know people who have known people who have traveled with them in their suitcase and they've escaped. Ants are like liquid. Like when you contain them, you have to be able to make sure they have air. But their ants are super
small,
exploratory and small. So if there's any crack in anything, they'll get out. And the story was that somebody had a suitcase on a plane, some semi-aggressive ant colony within that suitcase.
Yeah.
And the ants just got out and are just spilling out of the overhead luggage onto all the poor little passengers. And they grounded the plane because, I don't know, I suppose you can't travel multiple hours with just ants, bunch of ants biting you.
Well, unlike you, a lot of people aren't into that.
They're not for
You'd be
mechaphiles.
like, yay!
Finally.
Entertainment!
But then I think the person was like denying it, like, I have no idea how these ants got in my bed. And as the story goes, they just Googled his name. It's like well-known ant scientist. So it's kind of obvious.
So
and then in researching that, I just found quite a few stories actually of ants exploding out of bags in planes. And I really believe that it's not just like, I don't see how a random colony would get in your suitcase unless you put it in. I figure it is a lot of ant smugglers or ant scientists just trying to transport their ants internationally or interstate, even if the news thing doesn't actually explicitly say that, unfortunately. That's my
your theory.
headcanon. Yeah, that's my theory.
I was looking at one article on this, which was an ABC article.
So I thought that was really interesting because when you think the exotic pet trade,
that's what they thought it was. They were saying it was exotic pet trade.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense actually.
And it was these two teens, 5,000 ants, and the new frontier of the wildlife black market.
Yeah, so Kenya. This was in Kenya, where I grew up, and they have. Is
that a thing that you do in Kenya?
I've never saluted the president, whoever he is now.
Kenya.
So Kenya has really strict wildlife laws. Poaching is like a big problem there. Their rangers and things are essentially like a little militia. They're super, super passionate about the land and the animals and things like that. So the exotic pet trade there is much more difficult because of these really like strict and well-placed laws. And I suppose these people are like, it must be so much easier to transport insects than like an elephant. Ivory horned elephant or rhino, whatever. And it is not that easy. It comes with its own problems. So interestingly enough, when I was looking at issues of the exotic pet trade, there was the Burmese python incident in Florida. So they are considered...
Yes, this was the first story you sent
me. This is the first story that I thought was really interesting. So the story with that, the first time I learned it, I was doing a job as like a zoo guide kind of thing, and I was holding this snake in my hand.
So when was this? So you were...
This was maybe like 2 years ago. Okay. I was working for like a tour guiding company.
Oh, cute. Okay.
And we were just
in Sydney?
In Sydney, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And we were just at Symbio Wildlife Park, and I believe I had a Burmese python in my hands. And one of the teachers told me, "Oh, what was the story with the snake tornado?" And I was like, "What?"
And then you put in caps, snake tornado.
Yeah, so I went and looked it up, and it's a real thing. So in Florida, they're incredibly invasive there, which I already knew about that. And the way they became incredibly invasive is that there was a illegal like breeding site where they were being kept
of pythons.
Yeah, Burmese pythons.
Why were they breeding the pythons?
But to sell them in the exotic pet trade. So illegally breeding pythons, and then a hurricane came through, and the exact mechanism of how they're distributed across the country is unclear, but directly through this tornado, I like to imagine this tornado picked them all up into a big cone of snakes and distributed them evenly across Florida. In what I am dubbing the snake-nado.
The snake-nado.
And they're extremely like invasive there and like super, super successful in breeding and living in Florida. So that's a big problem now. And as you can see, I guess one of the risks of being within the exotic pet trade is tornadoes taking your merchandise and distributing it freely across the country.
I guess you've got to make sure then when you're doing this that you make yourself distinct from people who are doing it as exotic pet trade and like poachers and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think there is a market in Sydney for... So I thought that story was interesting because you would assume that by doing it via insects it's much easier, but it just seems to not be. So we have this like, it's like super easy to get this like chicken wire mesh stuff, and the ants can't quite get through it, but it's just like allows air to seep through. So just think of like a really fine mesh.
It could be really fine.
And we use that to like cover the top so that the ants can't get through, but they do tend to get stuck in there sometimes. So we're trying to go finer and finer, but if you go too fine, they can kind of chew through it because they're like quite. They just
the problem is ants like to go places.
They do like to go places, and so our ants, you can imagine in the wild, they're like frolicking. They're in these like big, expansive tree systems. So one colony can actually occupy like multiple trees and have all these different nests that act as outposts. Once that ant is just put in a box, it's incredibly bored.
Yeah,
and it just wants something to do. So we've actually found in my lab as well that the more bored the ants are, the worse their health is.
That makes sense. Like it's like zoochosis sort of thing.
And it's just something because we're studying their behavior and we want an accurate representation of how they're behaving and things like that.
But you can't because
so another really interesting talk that I've seen at one of the conferences I've been to is talking about enrichment for the spiders and ants and things. So you know how like polar bears like throw them an ice block in zoos, they just need like they have ice blocks that they throw them for enrichment with like stakes in them and stuff. So we were trying to figure out what is the ice block for the ants, like what is their ice block that we could enrich them with, because in captivity our nests are quite sad. It's just ant prison basically in comparison to
so like you're making an ant prison. Is that your job?
I make multiple little. I call them my nests. I never really refer to them as my prisons, but it is essentially that. Though. Yeah, you can't tell once we get the ants into their like enclosures and they're all in there. Once they've been there for a couple of days or like a couple of weeks, and we're not doing experiments with them. We're not engaging them in tasks and activities. They get quite bored and lazy, and they seem to die more. So I also, alongside doing my research, have just been trying to find ways to make them more happy and excited. So we feed them crickets and mealworms. They need like,
which is bigger than them, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's actually much bigger. It's actually way bigger than them, but they don't stand a chance because it's like I reckon you only need like 5 ants to take down a cricket.
Only 5? You reckon it's only 5 ants?
Yeah, they're.
How many ants take down one gorilla? I don't know if have you seen the 100 men versus a gorilla thing that's going on?
Good question.
How many ants for one gorilla?
Well, you know what? I know there's certain bird species that love to sit within ant colonies, and they find it very. I guess they're formicophiles. They find it very soothing to have the ants like nip at them, and it like helps to clean them as well. I think a gorilla I think they're ant proof. I think they have 100% ant resistance.
But I reckon enough ants could kill a person.
Yeah, for sure. When I've been climbing up a tree trying to get a nest down, sometimes when you're trying to get the nest down, you actually tear it in half, and you'll have thousands of ants raining upon you.
Do you wear little suits when you do that?
Queensland is way too hot to wear like a full protective outfit. And I've started ever since once I wear goggles now, because I had ants raining into my mouth, into my ears, into my eyes, and they are extremely ferocious.
And you just came on the spot.
I loved it.
I loved it.
My formicophile ass loved it. But no, they're just like incredibly aggressive. And I'm on this tree, and I'm trying to bounce in the street, and it's extremely overwhelming when you have 1 million bites simultaneously across the body.
I would literally cry and scream and throw up.
That's basically what I did. So I'm like on the tree, have to like calmly zen out to climb down.
You're in the middle of
exactly. And I'm like zen out trying to climb down. Also on top of this, finding the nest is quite hard. I remember the big nest in the center where the queen usually is, and you can kind of tell by the aggression levels and the density of ants if there's a queen in the thing. As soon as I opened it, I was like, there's a queen in there. Then I was blinded I just had ant vision basically, and I was like, the queen is somewhere, and it's like raining ants consistently through this thing. So I'm kind of there trying to think like, oh, should I be trying to get this queen? Should I be trying to get away because I think I'm gonna die from all these little bites? I do have a photo. I'll send you the photo of myself. I do have a photo of myself after. I'm just covered in little welts afterwards.
If that's okay, I would love that.
It's a horrible photo of me, but I'll find it.
I don't know if anyone expects you to look like Vogue ready after having ants crawl, like be assaulted by a million ants.
I have like soft, bitchy little skin, I feel like a gorilla has big, leathery, tough skin. I don't think we care as much. I would say on the pain scale, 1 ant biting you, like 4 out of 10. A million ants biting you, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, a million ants is gonna.
So I don't know I don't think there's a fight there with the gorillas and the ants, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
You don't think any number? What about a billion ants?
No.
Really?
If you go on the eyes, I don't know. I just think the gorilla wouldn't. I think it would be like more of a grooming thing for the gorilla. I'm sure gorillas have a lot of nits and ticks and things that the ants would just clean out and then get bored. If you could mind control the ants to be like particularly aggressive, then potentially you'd have an annoyed gorilla.
But not a dead gorilla.
Not a dead gorilla. No.
No. Okay.
I don't even think the gorilla would really kill the ants.
Do you think you could fist fight a gorilla with some ants?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even need the ants.
Okay. You think for you versus
one drop kick, dead
you could
gorilla.
beat a gorilla with
I'd go through its chest and kill it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then like pull its heart out.
No, just drop kick, and my entire body go through the gorilla, and I'd land on the floor.
There's gonna be an Acer-shaped hole in the gorilla.
Exactly.
Oh, whoa.
Because I'm skinny, all the pressure is concentrated into one point. I'm like a spear, essentially.
And that's how that works. That's how strength works, actually.
Yeah, I'm a physicist.
Yeah. So how many ants are you generally posting is my first question.
So we do it by colonies, and it just depends how successful we are. So one colony will have a queen, and it's hard to know because you just have a swarm there. I'm gonna ballpark 10 to 50,000 ants.
Okay, that's a lot of ants, and then you'll send that in one box.
It really might be more or less than that. I'm not like an ant counter.
No,
it's like the jelly beans in the jar.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But like that'll all be in one.
So that'll be in one box, and we have some features in there, like as I said, the cartons to give some structure around, and that'll be one box that we then seal with the wire to make it so they have air, and we ship that as one thing, and we'll probably have 10 to 13 boxes of ants that we then ship. And
then how long do ants live in general, like in the wild?
They have different like castes. So you have the queen and the workers and the males, which are the drones. The drones live the least amount of time. They're just born to bang and then they die. At least I'm sure there's ant colonies where that's not the case. The workers can be like weeks, a couple weeks. And
you've got to do a lot of work just to get a few weeks of research in.
Yeah, quite a bit actually. And then
because you've got to, you're telling me like you've got to post these, you've got to collect them.
No. So we probably go on a trip so then once they're with us, this colony is kind of like self-replicating. Oh, so the queen is constantly laying eggs. Yeah,
I forgot that they could make more.
I have one colony. Theta is the name of the colony. Banger colony, like such a strong colony. Even like we try and take care of them as much as possible. We have like a feeding schedule, a cleaning schedule. I check on them every now and then, and we check for like fungal growth. Mushrooms are like the worst enemy. There's a lot of ants that farm mushrooms. Our ants specifically, we found that depending on where we get our crickets from, they just have spores in them already. They're just infected.
Like in The Last of Us.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I haven't seen a mind-controlled ant in my colony yet, but I guess.
But that does happen, doesn't it?
It does happen. Yeah. Ants are a big victim of that. I think our spores just kills them, just straight up, just murders them.
Womp womp.
But what I've seen our ants do is actually they'll collect infected ants that have the spores on them, and those ants will actually if an ant knows it's infected, it'll stay away from the rest of the colony and just kind of jump off the tree and die. If an ant has died and has spores all over it, they'll actually collect all the infected ants and quarantine them in an area, and they'll silk over them so that it can't spread.
Dude, ants are better at dealing with pandemics than we are.
They're really, really, really smart, and they have all these like really. So our weaver ants live in trees. So usually, if you have a dead ant, you'll just throw it over the edge of something, and you don't have to worry about it. Now, in the absence of that, because they're just in a contained box, what they turned up doing is they just like collect everything in a corner and silk over it, and then I'll go and I don't have to like hunt through the colony for dead ants covered in mushrooms. Usually, if I wait a while, they're all collected into a corner. I can just like wipe them up and clean that up.
And how do you know which one the queen is? Sorry, this might be a really stupid question. Is it really obvious?
You just know. It's really, really obvious. They look completely different. Yeah. Okay. So that's one of the reasons queens are so like sought after as like pets, is because they make colonies, but they also just look the coolest.
Can a queen of a different, like, could a weaver ant queen be a colony of a different species of ant?
No. They would. It wouldn't work.
So
the whole thing with
different language.
Well, the whole thing with ants, they have altruism. So they sacrifice themselves for the good of the colony.
Altruistic, yeah, okay.
They're altruistic. The reason they do that is because they want their own genetics to pass on to the next generation. They want to maintain their genetics in the population. That ant knows that. I don't know how they know. I haven't asked it. But that ant, it knows that it's not going to be able to lay like more workers and make a whole colony for itself. So it will sacrifice itself for the good of the colony, so that the queen can keep making babies, and that way their genetics are maintained in the population.
That's so clever.
I forgot why I started saying that. What was the question?
My question. Well, my original question
was So in that scenario, that queen, if it's a different species, obviously hasn't given birth to those workers because it's a different species. So they don't care about taking care of it, and they won't have that altruistic instinct because they can sense their geneticness. Like you can sense how genetically related you are.
So that's why I guess you need to.
Yeah, I think humans have a little bit of that as well. I think like if you think someone smells good, your genetics are quite different. That's the idea. It's like if your partner's like, let's say the partner smells different, that means you're like genetically compatible because you have different. I think someone explained to me that it's actually your immune systems are different.
That's and which is good.
That informs genetic relatedness. If your immune systems are different, you're probably genetically different. So
which is good for making babies. Apparently.
Yeah, it's good for making babies because if you have all your babies have the same
like if you
immune system,
date your sister.
Yeah. So if you think of dating your sister who has the same immune system and then you have a baby, same immune system. Yeah. One disease can just wipe you all out because your immune systems are all similar.
So and that's why you shouldn't sleep with your siblings.
Yeah. I'm sure there's other reasons for it, but if you're talking in the realm of ants, that's like one of the main ones.
You ever slept with your cousin?
No. I haven't not slept with my cousin. I have to make sure.
Do you think Danny smells nice?
I think Danny smells great. Yeah.
Danny
smells really, really good. Yeah.
Amazing.
Which is good because we're both Egyptian and look a little similar. So there's
you don't really look similar. I think you're just both Egyptian. You don't look similar.
We have the same nose.
You and Danny do not give siblings or dating. And anyone who says so, I think is racist.
I really thought we did.
No, you don't. I think people are just racist. It's okay. I think people are just racist.
Well, I think I have very Egyptian features and she looks quite Egyptian as well.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I always think of you guys as looking quite distinct from each other.
That's good of you.
I don't think of you guys
That's very progressive of you.
Hello.
Footnotes. We believe in.
Footnotes. We are anti-racist.
We're anti-racism.
No, I don't think
ants are pro-racism.
There are definitely couples that I think give siblings a dating, and you and Annie aren't one of them.
I have a lot in mind, but I'm not going to say.
Can you name ones that we know?
No, we're on air. I can't.
Do it. I'll bleep it out.
I don't want to say it.
No, tell me.
Are you going to bleep it out?
I promise I'll bleep it out.
I really think look like this. No,
I agree.
When I first
I will have to bleep it out because I agree.
When I first saw them kiss, I was like, whoa.
We've had a tea break. Wait, cheers. I got that. So we get 10 years of bad sex.
I thought it was just 7.
No, it's 10, and you've already had 25.
You almost topped me up. Yeah, you almost topped me up another 10.
Let's talk about some of these specific stories that you've brought for us.
All right.
Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna start with the Ant-mageddon.
Do you know what Ant-mageddon is in reference to?
Armageddon.
Well, why do I care? I think it's in reference to some sort of movie.
The film Armageddon.
What does it have to do with planes?
Because it's like Armageddon, it's like a disaster. Armageddon's a disaster film. I get it.
It's
like it's a disaster.
Because I know there's a movie called Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if maybe some people lovingly call that movie Snake-mageddon or something.
No, Armageddon is a...
Yeah, okay,
Armageddon's also...
I know the meaning of Armageddon. I just didn't... I don't think Ants on a Plane is that disastrous that...
Well, I think a lot of people thought it was disastrous because so when I read through this, it sounded like there were just ants just spilling out.
Yeah, so ants are they can be quite high density and they can just be like a fluid.
Ants are known for being but so I think for a lot, not everyone's a what's the word I was
formicophile.
So for most people, that's not a pleasant experience to be covered in ants on a plane.
I believe it just depends on how pissed the ants are. So
they would be, but they've been in a container. That makes them pissed, no?
I will say, I think this article fails in one way, which is it does not specify who is to blame. Who's to blame for these ants being on this plane. And I read through it quite succinctly, specifically trying to find this, the culprit who should be to blame. Because I have my headcanon, my theory is that this was some sort of ant scientist.
Yeah.
Because I think one colony of ants isn't high enough supply to supply your entire exotic pet trading ring.
Yeah.
However, one colony is a good amount. Yeah, perfect for doing like scientific experiments, things like that. We have our ants are worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Each one of our ants is worth maybe $100 for the queen.
For the queen?
Sorry, for the queen.
Okay, I think each ant, and I
think we probably sell a colony for $200 if you have the whole colony. We have found blonde queens around campus, and my supervisors found one in his bedroom. Those ants $300 to $400 for just the queen. The reason being how difficult they are to get. So my ants are arboreal, living trees.
That's quite hard.
Difficult to get, but doable. As a someone who's only I don't have my tree climbing certification. I can climb up cut down a couple nests, dig through them, get the ant. Bull ants live in the ground. They're
Subterranean.
But yeah, they're subterranean, so they live in the ground. Way harder to get them, and they make their nests out of like compacted dirt, which when packed together into like the structure that makes the walls of the nest, super hard. So, and the queen is usually in like a very deep chamber.
Yeah.
So getting the queen of a bull ant colony, super difficult, because you'd have to like have all this like digging and excavation without killing it. And bull ants are very, very painful. They have like massive pincers, and once they bite you, they bring their tail around their abdomen around, and they can sting you like a couple hundred times.
And does that hurt a lot?
A lot, yeah.
Okay.
Like, and they have like whatever toxin that they inject.
So could that kill a gorilla?
Oh, I think bull ants would. Yes. I think if you had like a billion bull ants, because they're way. If you looked at a photo, pan to a photo of like a weaver ant versus a bull ants have like these massive weapons, the pincers, massive. Way easier to actually break skin, and then with all the stinging, and they're injecting toxins, I think you're much more likely to have a reaction to those. Yeah. As opposed to like your skin just getting like an abrasion or a burn from the acid isn't as bad as being like all those. Yeah. Or if you have like, fire ants kill people all the time as well. I think my ants specifically wouldn't stand very well against a gorilla.
Was this so the one you sent me here was this Air India one?
Well, I just sent you quite a few because I thought it was quite suspicious that
there's quite a few, and does this one specify? Yeah, because this says this wasn't the first time they mentioned. There's quite a few, but I don't think they ever mention who do it.
And I think they have these. I think there's an assumption that ants they are pests a lot. Yeah. And when you see ants, it's like, oh, I got ants, but the ants had to get there, and I struggle to see how ants are passing through security in a plane to establish the colony in the overhead cabins. Yeah. So I really do believe that somebody purposely, either a smuggler or a scientist like myself, has been sticking ants in their suitcases and just not sealing them properly and having them escape, especially if you're being jostled around, the ants are getting quite agitated. I know that just sticking ants in your overhead luggage is a very common way for scientists to transport ants. Yeah. And this is why I really believe that.
Because there's the other one, there's the ABC one with the Pitkins in Kenya, and they do specify who did it, and they talk a lot more about the smuggling thing, which makes me think when it's for smuggling for exotic animal trade, they're more interested in tracking down. But when it's a scientist, they're like, oh,
yeah, it's just like answer.
My question is, so why do you have to smuggle them? Surely there's like vested interest by Australia as a whole to be able to ship.
The bureaucracy of... So, one of the great things about entomology is that when you're working with invertebrates, you don't have to go through all the ethics approval, which is a great thing, but also a sad thing because some people don't treat their insects very well. I am very lucky to be in a team of very passionate scientists that treat our insects very well, and we take care of our ants. But you don't have to do ethics approval because they're invertebrates. So, anything without a spine... You can just... Don't have to do ethics.
That's... Snails at all?
You don't have to do ethics approval. You can just do, when you're doing a scientific study on them, you just don't have to get ethics clearance the same way you would if you were doing like birds or lizards or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, beetles and ants and slugs and all that stuff that don't have spines, just don't have to worry about it. I think octopuses you do, even though I think they're invertebrates.
I think they are, but I guess because they're seen as smarter and they're bigger.
Yeah, I think so. The whoever is in charge of all that has determined that they don't have enough capacity for suffering. But I definitely think they do. Yeah, I think that is like kind of messed up.
So because of the lack of ethics, why does that make it hard?
So that's entomology is a good thing because I don't want to have to do all the paperwork for that. When transporting this biological material, you just have to go through so much ethics. You probably have to pay quite a bit, and you probably have to transport in a certain way when it's not necessary. So we just bypass that by just shipping them. Yeah. Instead of having to jump all through the extra loops. I'm not saying that these regulations should not exist. They should exist, and they're very good to make sure that you're controlling pests and invasive species and things like that. It's just for us, we are like quite competent in this, and instead of trying to...
So you just think the rules don't apply to you?
I think they should apply to me, but I'm just like, I don't want to have to fill out all the...
Would that require like much more budget, I guess?
Yeah, you'd have to get clearance, you'd have to get budget, you'd have to get the permission from both governments, one taking the insects out of Queensland, one bringing them into New South Wales.
So do you not have permission when you take the bugs?
No, we just collect them.
You just like pinch them?
We just pinch them, yeah. Just kidnap them. To be fair, weaver ants are like super pesty in
Yeah.
Queensland. When we're collecting them, a lot of people just think we're from the council.
To like remove.
Yeah, to remove them, because we'll collect them from like public parks and things that are easily accessible. And people are like, oh, finally, someone's getting rid of that weaver ant nest, and we're like, give me your weaver ants. We're actually, so we're going up
Give
soon.
us your weaver ants,
Yeah,
please.
yes, please.
I've been kind of chatting when I've been chatting to people, they're like, oh, what's the next episode going to be on? And I'm like, oh, it's on ant smuggling because my friend's doing a PhD on ants. Like, what does it mean to do a PhD?
Yeah,
on
a lot of
ants?
people are like, why do you do a PhD on ants? It's just like,
that's why I wanted to ask, why did you do it? Because I'm like,
well,
I think it's
outside
cool.
of, I just think ants are so charming and so fun to work with. It's just like natural history stuff.
Yeah.
So like, it's not, I don't see how it's going to save the world or make money, but we're going to know more about the,
Not everything's about making money, though, you know?
yeah. Well, it was upsetting when we had to make our proposal to get money to do stuff. The later parts of our project at the end of my 3 years is hoping to build robots that are.
Wait, how does
ant-inspired.
robots lead into this?
So we need getting funding for ants and things is tough. So you need like some sort of application. And a really cool application that we came up with was imagine like an earthquake and you have like buildings collapse and there's people trapped underneath. If you have a crane or bulldozer or something come up, you have a chance of crushing all those people. If you have a group of decentralized, very lightweight robots able to traverse uneven terrain and work together to lift things up and rescue people, that would be really cool. So it's
be cool.
It's a very sci-fi idea. But our initial concept is just, can we design robots that are able to work together in the same decentralized way ants do? Because ants they have a queen, but the queen doesn't really tell them what to do. All it is just a baby maker. And the ants.
Whoa!
So it's
Is that what you think of women?
Actually, all the workers are women as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought the queen ant was the only lady ant.
No, so the queen is a lady ant, and all the workers are lady ants. And the only who are
the boys?
The only reason the boys ever exist is during the breeding season.
Yeah.
The queen will lay male eggs, and then the males have wings and will fly away and have sex and die, and that's it.
Emily, do not go there. And honestly, that's all they should do. Yep, she went there.
This isn't like a super original idea. People have done bio-inspired robotic stuff already and are like starting to like get into it. It's becoming much more popular now, especially with AI being on the rise. Things like coding and designing robotics is just like a little bit more accessible. So that is not necessarily like we think it'll make a lot of money, but we have to try and justify why we're doing the study. And that's just one of the reasons.
So my other question for you is, so it seems like there's not much investigation to be like, do you think the government just like doesn't really care when scientists do it just because they're like, it's for like the good of science, so we'll just let them?
I think it's that it would be a really big issue if we were not responsible with it. Like, we are very careful with making sure our ants aren't released into the wild in New South Wales.
Yeah,
they wouldn't really last very long because the climate isn't. They would just die from drying out because it's not humid enough. But we have very careful and serious like biosecurity control measures.
Yeah, to
make sure that the ants aren't escaping, and then also we are we're taking the queen, which is sad. The other ants won't be able to proliferate and make more of the colony, but we're taking.
So you don't take a full colony. I guess you can't take a full colony.
It's just there's like hundreds of thousands of ants in a full colony spread across multiple trees, you know.
So you're like a murderer, basically.
Well, those ants aren't dying; they're still living their life. It's just like they will slowly die out.
They can't make more. Yeah.
We would be much more careful with it if it was a species that was super, super important to the ecosystem and there weren't many of them around, and if they were a big risk of getting loose and becoming a pest in New South Wales, we'd be much more careful and go through the paperwork as we probably should. Yeah. But just because it's like the risks are so low, we just don't jump.
And also, you guys, I mean, you know that like if it's like people who are literal scientists on them, like
like I feel like we trust ourselves. So I mentioned before I worked with the orange-bellied parrots. You have a photo on there.
Yeah, orange-bellied parrots.
You can see
picture.
Gorgeous bird.
Yeah.
Like, super, super pretty bird.
Cute.
Working with them was a dream.
Yeah.
And they're in this like super, super remote area. And bird people come from all around the world to come see them. Twitchers, as they don't like being called, I don't think. But you have to get on like a little plane and go into Melaleuca in Tasmania to go see them. And when we were working there, me and a friend of mine, we saw that there was just a lot of funding and a lot of resources going into these birds. And I was kind of confused as to why. Like, it's a cute bird. I'm sure it makes money for tourism. But and as in terms to their importance to the ecology and ecosystem of this area, like not crazy. I think if they went extinct, it wouldn't like collapse the food web or anything.
Not
like that.
like weaver ants, for example.
Well, I don't know about specifically weaver ants.
But like
weaver...
ants in general.
Oh well, to be honest, if all weaver ants went extinct, yeah, that would probably be pretty bad. I'm sure that'd have a lot of ecosystem impacts. But because that's probably not going to happen in the next couple 100,000 years because there's just so many of them. I'm not supposed to worry about weaver ants. If ants in general went extinct, we'd kind of be done.
Yeah.
I think they are pretty important pollinators, things like that, and they do a lot of like nutrient recycling things. But it was really cool to work with this one bird and see that there's like so much passion about it. There's so much research into this bird, but it was a bit sad to see that same effort and money and all those resources aren't going into insect
just
conservation
aesthetically.
Well, people don't like bugs. Like if someone so in a lot of science communication I work with like kids.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really try to hammer home in them is like if you find a bug at home, don't kill it.
Yeah.
Like it's just like really, I find it really sad. My brother hates bugs and he squishes spiders and things, and it just makes me really sad. Like I'm like, it's like this really, really, I feel like it's really easy to be like, it's not significant.
Yeah.
It's a little bug, you know?
Yeah.
But if you get to know them, they're like so gnarly. Studying insects is so cool, and there's so much that goes into like their behavior and their like physiology and like how they're built. Like I really like, for example, mantises, how they have like massive knives as arms and things.
Yeah.
Like that stuff's cool, and I think it's sad to not take care of them. And then one of the ones that people know more about is bees. So bees get a lot of funding now and a lot of money. But it's also almost like disproportionate. If
bees are also like cute. They have that.
Bees
like,
are well. I
fluffy
feel like
thing.
that's a recent thing. I feel like people didn't think bees were cute before.
I wrote bee movie agenda on my notes. Is this the agenda by
I'm
Barry
sure the
B.
bee
Benson?
movie did help with a lot of helping.
Yeah, I bet it would.
Yeah, and I think
checks out.
I think like as time is going on, bugs are becoming more cool.
Yeah.
You get a lot more like bug merch and bug movies and things like that.
Yeah.
But I just wish there was more money and resources and interest into conservation for like things like beetles and aphids and weevils, like things that aren't as conventionally like sexy. Yeah. Like the same way that bees are. Like getting funding for ant projects is tough.
Yeah. And I guess that would maybe mean that there'd be like a better way to transport them as well.
Yeah, probably. There'd be like
actual system in place.
Yeah, bees have there's a lot of private companies that build nests for bees and things, and there's a lot of information on keeping them and how to like properly transport them and store them. With ants, it's not like we're pioneers in it, but there's not as much information and not as many resources as there are.
So like you've got to take stuff.
Yeah, we have to figure stuff out for ourselves. So I just wish there was more just like love for bugs, and don't squish bugs in your home. Don't
squish bugs in your home.
Just leave them out.
I'm a pro release into the wild.
It's scary to do. If you have like a huntsman or something, it's scary to do, but just leave it alone. It's not
I generally take it outside.
Yeah. It's just scary to do. Some people just don't. It's just you're taking the risk of getting bit or get crawled on. Although a huntsman probably won't really bite you.
But like if it's like I'm strong.
But release out into the wild, absolutely. It probably is trapped in your house and doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I'm not a keep in the house because that'll freak me out. But I'm not a killer.
That's fair. I still get. Do
you kill cockroaches?
If the cockroaches kind of like spread disease and stuff, so they are hurting you. So I was
gonna say cockroaches are so like.
They're also. I mean I get freaked by bugs all the time. As someone who studies insects, if a cockroach crawls into my arm, I'll get spooked and might accidentally swat it. But I'm trying to be better with that.
Yeah. Take care of your bugs.
Take care of your bugs. They're important for the world.
So in conclusion, ants are cute.
Ants are cute.
Ants are cute.
Ants are cute.
In conclusion, so let's some concluding points. Yeah. Ant smuggling. Why is it popular?
It's because ants are just so cool. People are starting to realize. Yeah. I know I just went on a whole rant about how not enough love is given to insects, but people are starting to realize how cool ants are. Watching them build, watching them silk. Like my aunts use their babies. I haven't even gotten. I feel there's so much I could still say about how cool your ants are.
A whole PhD work.
They use their larva as like a mobile 3D printer.
They're babies?
Yeah, they're babies. So the larva usually uses its silk to silk itself to protect itself. The larva of the weaver ant actually sacrifices that silk for a structural thing. So weaver ants will fold over large leaves and then weave them together. That's why called weaver ants. Weave them together with their larva. So watching that is just so fascinating. If you give them like leaves and paper and things, they'll fold them together. But
because there's not enough funding, there's not enough like actual systems in place to get them to transport properly.
I'm sure they'd be a really gnarly pet. Like I have like 10 colonies.
Well, that's kind of what they were saying why they're becoming exotic pet thing, because it's like they're smaller and easy to take.
Well, yeah, I think in somewhere like Kenya where this story is taking place, it's really hard to be in the exotic pet trade which is good.
Which it should be.
And I think there's just an idea that like I'm gonna just smuggle like insects because it's so much easier. But I think there's so much love for nature in Kenya that there is knowledge of how important insects are for ecosystems and for wildlife conservation in general, that they are having the appropriate reaction of being worried that taking all these exotic insects and things out of a continent and bringing them somewhere else could, one, hurt the continent they're taking them away from because they're important for like ecological processes there, but then bringing them into somewhere new, you could have the invasive animal problem, which is a massive thing in
like cane toad.
Yeah, cane toads, or in like Australia we have so many. Which having grown up in Kenya, I'm sure there's invasive animals there. It's not as big of a
but I guess the impacts of colonization was huge here. Like
massive
species.
And I guess there's just
and everything else.
There is more information and more research, I guess, here into invasive species and like how it's affected the wildlife.
That's a huge thing in Australia.
Which is good, but like things like foxes and cats and everything like that, like
bunnies.
You could easily have that same sort of issue for some ant species that got into somewhere and wiped out another ant species because they're so like warfaring and aggressive.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that this has been taken seriously. I'm
going to just question your ethics here. What if your ants escape, Asa?
Well, one of the things that's good about having them in New South Wales is that my ants would die if they escape. So we keep them in climate-controlled chambers and rooms to make sure that they have that humidity and temperature levels. If they did get out...
they would die.
That being said, if they got out and that wasn't a problem and they were able to exist in this climate, I really think they'd decimate a lot of ant species here. I don't think... We have some...
And there are surely some species that are being studied that would survive and then could decimate.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of, like, really... good biosecurity controls. Like our ant rooms and stuff, we're always checking that all the nests are sealed. Even if they got out of the nest, they'd then be trapped in that room and then things like that. And we're always checking them like every day to make sure that they're not escaping.
Count every ant.
Not quite, but we could. Maybe that'll be the next step.
Yeah.
But I think if they did escape and were like out around the campus around Macquarie, you definitely see a reduction in like ant diversity there because the weaver ants are just so aggressive. Yeah. And they would just wipe out other ants and take up ants
in general are very, so I guess it's the whole thing where it's like ethical question mark. Not that I'm like you're a bad.
I guess it's like we're breaking the rules. We are breaking the rules.
But you are the experts at breaking the rules.
Yeah, well, I would like to be an expert. I'll say I'm working with the experts. Ants, and slowly learning myself. But yeah, I think we would be following the procedures more closely if there was more risk. Cross that bridge when we get to it. If we have.
Yeah. What if you destroyed New South Wales ecosystem by introducing?
I feel like weaver ants could. They really could. Like ants are important. For the ecosystem.
And then what if you got ones that then because of like natural selection like happened to mutate to one that was fine with humidity and then was able to.
I suppose. They wouldn't.
So I'm like, what if?
I suppose if within our climate control chamber we slowly reduced the humidity and stuff, and then a bunch of them would die, but maybe that would give the opportunity for some sort of mutation that allows them to exist. But we'd have to do it over the course like millions of years for them to really have that mutation, unless it was really lucky.
But like, what if you destroyed the world accidentally though? But what if?
As long as I got my degree, then like who cares, you know?
With that, we are going to conclude this week's episode of Footnotes. Before we finish, Asa, is there anything you'd like to shout out?
Myself? Yeah. Shout out me?
You can shout out yourself.
Shout out Weaver Ants. Thank you for putting up with me and being very engaging to work with. And shout out Macquarie and my team at Macquarie for just being really cool and fun to work with.
Nice.
Shout out Danny. I love you.
Oh! Shout out Danny.
She put me in the acknowledgements for her undergrad thesis. So
really?
Yeah, so I'm just.
Oh, that's really. So are you going to return the favor by shouting her out?
I actually didn't put her into the acknowledgements for my master's thesis, so I'm very lucky that she still put me in hers.
That's real. But you're putting the acknowledgement in the shitty episode of my not shitty, it'll be a great episode.
So you think my episode...
No, an episode of my shitty podcast is what I want to say. This episode's good, my podcast in general is shitty.
I'm glad you like this episode.
Anything else you want to shout out before we finish?
I didn't have shout outs prepared. Just myself.
Just yourself?
Yeah.
And Danny.
Shout out Footnotes. Thank you for having me on. This has been very fun.
Thank you.
I hope to be on again one day.
Yes, absolutely. I'll think of something. Maybe I'll get a third mic.
I've kind of blown my load already. Like I don't. I'm like the ant guy. I don't have many more expertise. I could just ramble on
you do like video games and stuff. I could do like the video game one. I could have you and Nick and who else do you play video games with?
I don't really play video games. Nick's too busy. He's crypto man. Yeah. Talk to Nick about his cum coin.
I'm going to do a crypto episode with Nick. But with that is the end of the episode. If you enjoyed, please give us a rating, give us a follow on whatever platform you're listening to.
Favorite, and smash that subscribe button.
Exactly. Let me know if you enjoyed our guest this week, which guest you preferred, Sam or Asa, who should come back. Also, who would win in a fight? Sam versus Asa versus Ants versus Gorilla.
I would be within the top 3 in that.
Top 3, you would be
of
one
the 4,
of.
yeah.
Do you think you could beat Sam in a fight?
I think Sam is very kind, and Sam would throw himself in the gorilla for me.
With that, my name's Emily.
My name's Acer.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
High five.
Should I start recording?
Yeah, we'll start recording now.